Hello and welcome to Faithfully Stampin' with Jennifer Helm. I am Jennifer Helm, the Faithful Stamper, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! Today's card for you is a really quick, really easy sketch card. This was inspired by the Paper Craft crew. I ran across a photo of a card they had designed and liked it, so I decided to share that with you today. Sometimes you just need quick and easy. You don't need fancy folds. Sometimes you just need a little downtime. I think creatively, you still want to create, but you don't want to overtax your brain. And this is the kind of card that is perfect to do that. It would be very easy to mass produce, great for any occasion, and it really showcases nicely some designer series paper. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to make this. So I have to start with a card base. This is crushed curry. You can use either style of card base you like. I'm using the 5.5 by 8.5, but you can use the 4.25 by 11 as well. No rhyme or reason for your card base for this particular card. So whichever one you choose, just go ahead and score it down the middle. And so you've got your card base, and check and see which side you want to be the front of your card. I'm going with this one. So next, you need a piece of designer series paper that is 5.25 by 4. Be mindful of your direction. You want taller height, so 5.25 tall, 4 inches wide. So just keep that in mind. I'm actually switching it up a little bit. I cut my paper differently from my sample card, but I think it's going to look good either way. And this is from the Lights Aglow suite that we have in our 2022 Holiday Mini. I have lost my adhesive. How in the world did I do that? Okay. I got it. Sorry. Woo. I had it in my hand a minute ago. It couldn't have wandered that far. Apparently it's going to be one of those days. All right. No special adhesive needed for this card, so just use your favorite method. I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus. That's my favorite. And that just gets put on the front of the card. Next, you need another piece of designer series paper, 2 3/4 inches square. Now, I don't know if you can see the shimmer, and there's shimmer in this too. So that's why I really thought this worked for a New Year card, since it has lots of sparkle, and we have lots of fireworks on New Year's Eve, right? So this gets glued flat to the card. You can glue it down at the bottom like I have it on my sample, or I think we're going to experiment a little bit. And maybe I'll put this one more towards the middle. You can go towards the bottom, towards the top, or we'll try in the middle, see how that looks. And then next you need a piece of cardstock, a strip of cardstock, about 3.25 inches tall by 3.5 inches long. You can go a little bit shorter, maybe 3.25. I wouldn't go a lot longer because then it'll run across the page. Although you could run the cardstock strip the whole length of the paper. I'm actually using gold glitter paper. We have some beautiful glimmer paper in our catalog right now, and another piece of the suite that goes with the designer series paper and the stamp sets I'll talk about in a minute is this beautiful pack of glimmer paper, and it has gold, evening evergreen, and very vanilla. All beautiful and shiny glitter papers. So I decided I was keeping that glitter theme rolling tonight. And you can put your cardstock strip towards the bottom, towards the top, in the middle. I think I'm gonna go a little below the middle on this one. One thing I was thinking about with this card design is it's very outside the box for me. I am very much, I like things to be straight and in the center. I have trouble doing things cockeyed. And honestly, I probably never would have designed this card myself, but I honestly love it. It's quick and simple and neat, and it works. So that's one thing I like about seeing sketches that other designers create and share, because it's something that's outside my norm, a little bit outside my comfort zone. So it's always fun to experiment. All right, moving right along, you will need a piece of either basic white or very vanilla, whatever color cardstock works for you, or you could use a light color that coordinated with your design as well. 1 3/4 inch square. I am using very vanilla today because this particular piece of DSP is very vanilla, not white. So I'm just keeping that vanilla theme running throughout the card. So this is 1 3/4 inch square, and you can go a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller if you wanted. I wouldn't go too much smaller, but I really fit mine around the sentiment that I want to use. So we're going to get to our stamping. I'm using Tuxedo Black Memento ink. This is my go-to black ink when I need it, and this is the kind of ink I would use if I were using my stamping blends, but it's also a great multi-purpose black ink as well. So red rubber cling stamp, so I don't need any extra cushion underneath. Just have to give a little tap of the ink pad and a little pressure. Whoop, there we go. And I think that works. Now I will let this set for just a minute. It takes a smidge longer to dry than our dye-based inks, but that's okay. You don't have to wait an eternity. And I'm gonna bring over scrap paper for just a minute, because while I'm here with my stamps out, I'm going to stamp the inside of my card. 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Very Vanilla. And the stamp I am using, let's see, the sentiments are from the Brightest Glow set. Again, this is all part of that Lights Aglow suite that I mentioned earlier. And this is the Christmas lights. These two coordinate together, and with the Designer Series paper and that glimmer paper. I forget what else is in that suite, but it's a lot of fun stuff. If you want to check it out online, you can go visit my website. And I am using this star garland here. I thought that was appropriate for a New Year's card. And because this stamp that I'm using, it's actually wider than my paper. That's why I'm using the scrap paper underneath, so I don't stamp on my work surface. But I'm gonna stamp a little bit differently. Normally, I take my stamp to the ink pad. Today, for this particular stamp, I'm gonna bring my ink pad to the stamp. It just helps me get even coverage without trying to play a guessing game because my hand's in the way while I'm moving things around. So I'm just gonna bring my ink pad over, flip it, and just as if I were doing it the opposite way, tap gently. Don't be sinking your ink pad down on your stamp, then you'll just have a mess. So tap gently. And that's probably good. I can kind of check it and see here. And then, I'm gonna move this a little closer. I'm gonna put that down on the card. Yay. All right, so there is my little star garland, nice and festive. And then I'm gonna add my sentiment. So I'm going back to that Memento ink for just a minute. And the inside sentiment, which says, "May the peace of the season light your world, and may your new year be the brightest." So, a little tap in the ink, make sure I have good coverage. And then 1, 2, 3. And that looks pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna close up my ink pads for a moment. I'm always afraid I'll stick my elbows or something in my ink pads if I leave them open on the table. All right, so this is gonna go inside the card in just a minute. So I'm gonna hop back to the front for a moment. So on my little 1 3/4 inch square here, I'm gonna put some dimensionals on the back. You could glue this on flat as well. If you like a completely flat card front, this is a great one to do it. So I'm not adding a whole lot of dimension, but I'm just adding a little bit by putting dimensionals here on the back of this piece. And then I think I'll go ahead and center that one like that. I'm going to add some festive pearls. We have a great set of pearls right now. It has the red, the green, the silver, and I'm just about out of the gold here. You can tell I've been using them a lot. So I'm going to almost finish them and just add a little accent here to the corners. I thought that these pearls were a nice touch, and they really just kind of keep that glitter and glimmer theme going here with a little bit more sparkle, which is determined to stick to my fingers today. Okay, here we go. So there's the front of the card all finished, and then really quick, little adhesive on the inside of the card for that inside panel, just like that. And then I actually pre-stamped my envelopes today. And I used another stamp from the set, not exactly snowflakes. I guess they could serve as snowflakes, but I was thinking more kind of sparkles. So those I thought went nicely with my card. So this is our quick and simple sketch card. And I'll just show you a couple samples here with this one. These are the different variations of this I did with the paper run in the opposite direction and then placement on the focal point there. So as you can see here, you can put them wherever you like. And you can also change up the shape as well for your sentiment. You're not tied into the square. For example, here I used one of the dies that coordinates with the set, and it's this really fun circle. I don't know if you can see the detail here with the little bit of stitching and then the cutout dots that go around. And I just thought that was another fun variation as well. And then I have just a few more samples to show you. This is a copy of the original card that inspired the idea. Just quick and simple fun, a really great way to showcase your designer series paper. And again, you can mix and match. This one I added a bow. Here I opted to leave the bow off, but I put a layer behind my white circle with my sentiment in it. And then on the inside, I added a strip of coordinating designer series paper to tie everything together. And then with my envelope, I used the matching DSP on the flap as well. That is a trick I like to use when I might not have a stamp that coordinates to go on the front of the card. I just tie it all together with designer series paper. And then last but not least, one thing I like about these card sketches is you can take the original idea and tweak it. Let your creative juices run wild and see where it takes you. And this was a card that I came up with. Pardon me. I chose to have designer series paper for the back, but then I embossed cardstock for my large square here. I used the Whimsical Woodland embossing folder. And then instead of using my sentiment on a small square, I put that up to the top of the card here on a different punch, but I still wanted something to go on the square. I turned my cardstock strip into a banner of DSP, and then I added my candy canes. So you really can tweak it and have fun. I think you could turn this design sideways, and with the right paper and sentiment facing the right direction, of course, that would honestly work in this orientation as well. So let this be a springboard for your creativity and see where you go. And here is just the inside of this one. So great for any occasion, I feel, really quick and simple, and easy to mass produce if you need to make a bunch of New Year's cards or Christmas cards or any cards really. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this quick and easy stamp sketch. If you have not already, I'd love for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I love sharing my creativity with people, and I hope it inspires you to be creative as well. You can click the notification bell and be notified each time I post a video here on the page. If you are a Facebook fan, you can find me at The Faithful Stamper, and I share specials that Stampin' Up! Has to offer and other projects there as well. And I'd be happy to have you as part of my community there on my page. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and happy crafting.